Something that's very important to us at Automatic CSS is keeping the framework as light and flexible and manageable as possible while still being the most powerful framework for WordPress page builders. And in Automatic CSS 2.3, we have a brand new feature for more advanced users called Pro Mode, and I'm really excited to show you what it's all about. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Under the Options panel in the ACSS dashboard, there's been a framework settings area for a very long time. And you can come in here and turn basically any section of the framework off if you don't intend to use it. But in the past, this would also turn off the variables associated with that part of the framework. So you would lose the classes and you would lose the variables. Obviously, this would lighten the framework to whatever degree that section of the framework is responsible for. But now we have what's called Pro Mode. And if we look at the top here, you're going to see a brand new switch at the top of framework settings. I'm going to go ahead and activate Pro Mode. You can do this on any website because you can always undo it. But I would highly recommend doing it on a brand new website so that you can build going forward, because if you use some of the features that Pro Mode is going to turn off, then things are going to break. So this is one of those features that I would highly recommend if you have a blueprint website, which is what we recommend, a starter website framework for all of your projects that has all of your plugins, all of your settings, the way you like to have them. This is something you want to set up in your blueprint so that every website build going forward already has Pro Mode activated. And we're going to take a look at what Pro Mode does, but the first thing you need to know is it lightens the framework by over 50%. So Automatic CSS is already a very light framework. Now it's over 50% lighter with Pro Mode activated. You can also make the framework even lighter by going in and turning off colors that you don't want. You can go into buttons and turn off different button sets that you don't intend to use. I would highly recommend you do this as well. For example, most of the websites that I build, I only use action buttons. So I will go in and turn off the primary and the secondary and the accent and the base. I might leave a black or a white button on. There's not much bloat here, but there is a lot of classes and a lot of framework, associated with these different button sets. So when you turn off, especially colors as well, so when you turn off colors that you don't use, you turn off button sets that you don't use, and then you turn on Pro Mode, we're talking about making the framework 75 to 80% lighter. It is blazing fast at that point. So let's go ahead and go into the options panel and really talk about what Pro Mode does, because it doesn't do anything magical other than turn off a predetermined set of or predetermined parts of the framework. And this is based on the way that I use Automatic CSS personally as the creator of Automatic CSS. So it's going to leave background classes on. Why is it going to leave background classes on? Because background classes are often something that you want to be able to change on the fly as you work up a page. These are not things that you want to continually tie to different classes. So if you're building out a page and you want to quickly change the background color of a section, you're probably going to use classes for that. It's a very good use case for utility classes. So we're going to keep those on. We're going to turn off the owl spacing classes. We're going to turn off margin classes and padding classes, because these things are most often used in situations where you have multiple elements, and you should probably be using custom classes. And then at that point, you are using the ACSS variables. And that is the critical difference now with these toggles and with Pro Mode, is that we're only turning off the classes. All of the variables associated with these parts of the framework are still available to you. You have the full power of the ACSS framework, even with these classes turned off. Section padding classes is another one. I want to be able to, on the fly, determine that this section has more padding than this section, and so on. And so that's done with utility classes. Anything that is really good from a true utility standpoint remains on, and anything that is best done with variables and custom classes is turned off. And again, this is for those more advanced users who understand the power of variables, who mostly build sites with custom classes and variables because you care and number one, you understand the concept of maintainability and scalability, and you respect the concept of maintainability and scalability. And we've talked at length about how building a website purely with utility classes is not a good idea. That's not a scalable approach. It's not a maintainable approach. The best thing for maintainability is custom classes using something like BEM organization, BEM methodology, and variables. And that's exactly what automatic CSS gives you in pro mode, is all of the variables. So you have the full framework to work with. And then you have some utility classes for those instances where utility classes do make the most sense. Again, I wouldn't go toggle this on to a fully built website where you use utility classes everywhere without much thought, because things are going to break. But going forwards on your blueprint site and on all of your websites going forward, if you want to use automatic CSS like a pro, like a more advanced user, and you want to lighten the framework, I would highly encourage you to turn on pro mode, start using variables and custom classes more often, and only use utility classes where they make perfect sense. If you have any questions about pro mode, drop a comment below and we are happy to help.